We are the sons and daughters of a people history tried to erase, but truth made unforgettable. We are the ones who marched without backing down, sat without bowing, spoke without fear, and loved even when unloved. Our chains became crowns, our scars became banners, and our voices, drums that even silence respects.
Thank you for tapping in. It's Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media. A few minutes with HRap is the name of the program. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share. If you haven't subscribed, again, as you know, the drill. This is the drill. If you're watching this live, if you're not watching this live, go to www.theendofthebench.com. You'll see this in its entirety, and you'll be able to watch the Black History video from Country Boy and One Mic History. They're doing excellent work. Please do that. And as I do it every day, thank you to Dolores and John. Dolores is my mother. John is my father. They came together, created me. I created this, and this is what you're doing with your valuable time. So thank you. Woo! This is going to be an interesting episode. Thank you very much. It is called State of Emergency. The reason I entitled this State of Emergency is because the Urban League, yes, just like the NAACP, we have the Urban League. The Urban League said, Black people, we're in a state of emergency. The reason I'm saying that is because they, at this point, the administration that is running the United States federal government, whether it be the Congress or the House of Representatives or the executive office, and even the Supreme Court, all four branches are being run by what I believe is a fascist. This is a fascist regime. And who is the strongest community in the United States of America? The Black community. They tell you that you're the smallest, but that's a lie. And if you doubt what I'm saying, or what I want you to do is tap into your logic. Logically, how could the Black vote be so important if we're the smallest? We're, if not, I personally believe we are individually the largest. Now, if you want to make white people a collective, which they don't, then yeah, it's more white people in the United States of America than anybody. But white people divide themselves into Jewish and Irish and German and French and so forth and so on, other European nations. Salute to the European brothers and sisters, because you guys support me a lot. Thank you. Especially people in Sweden, which I don't understand that. But hey, shout out to the people in Sweden. But if they divide themselves by countries and continents, they don't have a race. They have nationalism. If you are part of the United States of America, you are part of Black America, that is our nationality, and we are the largest population in these United States of America with 300 million people on the continent or in these United States. How could it be 55 to 60 million of us and we are the smallest? But that's not what I'm going for. What I want you to understand is they're waging war against us because if you're the largest portion of the population individually and you are the most united, contrary to popular belief, because, hey, we're making people billionaires and millionaires, and we're making companies money because we have people that look like us being the target, creating target audience for us, and then we make them richer. And then guess what? Every president since I've been voting, 37, 38 years, 1988, it's always, we have to get the Black vote. We have to get the Black vote. If we're the smallest, why would you target the smallest? But let's get back to the point. They're trying to make racism legal. They are making racism legal. They're making sexism legal, sexist legal. They're making Zionism legal. They're making all kinds of things that are anti-working class America illegal. They're making it legal. They used to be illegal. The 1965 Civil Rights Act protected people who migrated to this country, people who are here who are identified as minorities. And if you look at the word minorities, that means minor, which is a child, which that's why they try to handle us in that fashion. What I want you to understand is, people, we are in a state of emergency. You don't understand where I'm coming from. This is what I want you to understand. For the last 5, maybe 8 years, and maybe even 12, you've been hearing this mantra touted about these United States of America. Black women are the most educated group of people in this country. We have more master's degrees. We have more businesses, and ... And salute to my sisters. Hey, man, if you're the most educated group in this country, salute to you. If you're the most entrepreneurial-minded people in this country, salute to you twice. And if you are going to be at the forefront of liberating our people, salute you, salute Fannie Lou Hamer, salute every woman in the history of the world that are from my community who are leading the way. I don't have no problem. I was led by a Black woman. My grandmothers are some of the most important and pivotal women in my life. My aunts are equally pivotal. My cousins are endeared. My sister Phyllis taught me how to read. So guess what? If it wasn't for a woman, I wouldn't even be here right now because I couldn't read the things that I read to enhance myself, and then I share with you guys. So I have a problem. I don't have a problem with a Black woman, but people in the United States of America do. You doubt it? Here we go. The president was put in office January 20th, 2025. Since that day, did that wrong, 300,000. 300,000. More than 250,000 Black women have lost their jobs. Because if you are going to be the breadwinners in the forefront of this community, we're going to attempt to weaken you at every point. And guess what else? It is an attack on your civil rights. It is an attack on your physical rights. It is an attack on your mental rights. It has been an attack on history, education, health. Because if I can get you physically weaker, guess what? You'll be mentally weaker. If you get mentally weaker, you'll be spiritually weaker. If you're spiritually weaker, you won't have anything to fight with. This is what I want you to understand. This is what we're dealing with on a regular basis. We've been dealing with this for 400 years, and now it has been refocused on you and your children and your daughter and your son and your nieces and your nephews and your friends and your cousins and everybody who's connected to you. But they don't want you to hear this because they want to distract you with foolish conversations. No disrespect, because it's a person who taps in, and I'm not taking a shot at you, and you know who you are. We want to have conversations about the National Football League Players Association. We're talking about 400 people, and I'm talking about 40 million of us, 50 million of us, or even 60 million of us. That's what we're distracted with. LeBron James conversation. We're distracted with Shannon Sharp conversation. We're distracted with all kinds. There have been several tentacles to distract us from the fact that they're attempting to strip us of all our civil rights, strip us of all our liberties, and put us in a position to whereas we will be sunken. You have conversations like the people on the continent, the great continent. That's y'all know what I'm talking about. The great continent of Africa. If you don't know, if this is your first time watching, and if it is your first time watching, thank you for tapping in. If it's your first time watching, I want to say hello to you. And what I need you to do is say hello. And then what I need you to do is that hit that thumbs up and hit and subscribe if you haven't. But back to the point. The main thing, let the main thing be the main thing. But what I'm saying is this. What I want you to see is this. What I want you to understand is this. We are dealing with people who are attempting to take our liberties at every turn of every page in the world. They continue this divide and conquer thing. Oh, the people on the continent don't like you. The people in the Caribbean don't like you. In Chicago, the people on the south side don't like the people on the west side. The people on the west side don't like the people on the north side and the south side. The people on the north and south don't like the west. Meanwhile, we really have people attacking us at all turns of life. Because if we just imagine it, Barbados, salute to the Prime Minister of Barbados, a beautiful woman by the name of Marion Motley. Marion Motley said, you know what? I'm going to create the United States of the Caribbean. And if you are part of the African diaspora, meaning you and I, if you look like this, if you got this color skin or darker or lighter or any form of any portion of the spectrum of the rainbow of Black people, you come down to Barbados and get you dual citizenship, and you can be chilling. How about that? And what if they all did that? Then the continents of Africa, like Ghana and Kenya and Botswana, they'll say, hey, come on back. We apologize. Do you know in 1993, the people of Ghana rewrote their constitution and had a edict, a portion of their constitution apologizing to you and I, but you've been told that the people in Africa don't like you. Africa is not a country. It is a continent. That's like saying the people in North America don't like you. You mean the Canadians, the South Americans, the Central Americans? Which one? You wouldn't be able to say that because that would be asinine. Africa is not a country. It is a place. It's not an individual. It is not an individual island of people that just got together, huddled, and say, hey, Black people in America, drop dead. Let's be honest. Have you had poor interactions with people from the continent? Probably you have. It's a possibility. But guess what? You've had some poor interaction with people who right here in Chicago, right here in LA, right here in these United States. You didn't say all Black people in the United States don't like it. So again, stop using these propagandized edicts, propagandized information, propagandized fairy tales to judge who people are and where they're coming from. Back to the point. Your liberties are under attack. You attack people's academic prowess, because if you're not informed, you can't make an informed decision, which is an intelligent decision. You don't make an intelligent decision, you make a foolhardy decision. And that's why you have people in my community supporting a open nationalist, white nationalist, because there's no such thing as white supremacists. If you're genetically recessive, you can't be supreme to, you know what I mean. But back to the point, these people are attempting to destroy your liberties. They're attacking women. They're attacking women first, because see, if Black woman is the most educated woman, she's the person with the most entrepreneurial spirit, and she's the leader of homes and the developer of the youth and the carer of the youth, and they're pouring in, and she's pouring into these men, these nephews, these cousins, these young men, these old men, and she's the backbone of the community, which she has been the whole time. But we need to attack that. Our brothers weak, no, but sisters are the glue to the community. You destroy the group, just like with a house. If you destroy the mortar, the bricks come apart. If you destroy the mortar on the foundation of something or a building, the bricks are separated. We are the bricks, man. Now, why don't we start acting like the bricks? Why don't we come together and bust your damn head or build something? That's what the bricks do. They can either be a tool or a toy or a weapon. We are that. And if we allow them to strip things, like, for example, for the sisters that are listening and who are going to say, well, how they attacking us? Do you know, I am 55 years old. That means I was born in 1970. If I was born in 1970, you know what that means? That means 2 years after that, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act was passed. If you don't know what that is, here's a little information. Before 1972, you would need your father, you would need your brother, you would need your spouse to sign off on you getting a bank account, you getting a credit card. How many of y'all got credit cards and go shop it all the time right now? And you have handmaidens, the handmaidens too. You look at it on YouTube. You got handmaidens who are working for white nationalism, working for these people who identify themselves as white supremacists, and they want to do away with that because women need to be at home taking care of the kids. But besides, in 1929. When they said Black women had to go work because we don't want our white women in the field. So you're going to make my woman go take care of your whining ass children, your crying ass children. And even to the point where some of these women were breastfeeding these young white kids. But you're going to leave my kid at home, who's going to struggle academically, who's going to struggle in regards to love, who's going to struggle in regards to attention, who's going to struggle in regards to community. And that's how you are in the situation you are now. So when you say, yeah, women do need to be at home, you damn fool, you're supporting the destruction of your community. Again, if they're the brick, if they're the mortar, you're the brick. What's holding the community together? The mortar. But that's what you're buying into. And you got a lot of doofus men who are buying into this foolishness. That's why a lot of sisters be, these men ain't no good. Well, it's partially true, but we don't need to regurgitate things that we believe out in front of people. You know, just like if I'm having an argument with my old lady, y'all will never see me come on here and see she need to. No, me and her gonna beef about it personally, and we're gonna come together in private and we're gonna fix it. Even if we have an event to go to, we're gonna show up at that event with smiles on our face, thinking she better not say nothing to me. But we're gonna smile and then we're gonna come back home and we're gonna get back in the car. You still make me sick, but you look nice today. That's how we're going to do it. And that's what we need to do as a community. We don't need to love each other. We don't need to be best friends. We don't need to be homies. We don't need to be lovers. But we do need to respect and honor each other, because we're always under attack. There has never been a moment in these United States of America, or even when it was the 13 colonies, or even it was 1492 when the savages got over here and tricked and befuddled our ancestors that they identify as Indians, but they were really Black people. But we're not going to get into that because we know the truth. And if you don't know the truth, continue to tap in. I'll educate you on the truth on a regular basis. Now, we've been under attack. You even got, watch this, 1772. See, these things you can always look up. See, that's the beauty in Google. You can like flip up the YouTube thing in the corner that you can Google and Google Meritos manumission. Meritos manumission is a law that says if you help a white man, life become easier. Snitch on a slave or save a white man's life, you'll get your freedom. this is why our community is dejected, because they mixed us all up. So we don't know each other. We just know it's a bunch of people that look like us, but I don't know him. So I'm going to snitch on him so I can get my freedom. It's wrong. But hey, when you are in a wilderness that you have no control over, you've never been here, or you've been separated from your tribe who used to be in Florida, or your tribe that used to be in Georgia, and you're in Massachusetts, you're going to do what you have to do to get away from your people. That's all I'm saying. But when you're dealing with that type of tyranny, that type of aggression, that type of destructive nature, what you must do, brothers, sisters, ladies, gentlemen, haters, and bitter friends, is come together. And again, you need comrades. That's why you need to be working with the LGBTQIE community. You need to be working with the Latino community. You need to be working with the Asian community. You need to be working with the community that's identified as indigenous community, because collectively, you are the most powerful force in the world. You need to go back to your specific corners. But see, they've told you they don't like me. You don't need anybody like you. I like me so much. I walked past the mirror earlier today, thought I was gay. I was like, oh, he's sexy. But it was actually me. That's how much I like you. And I need you to like you that much. And then if you like you and I like me, and we work together, and we don't even have to like each other, because we're too busy liking us and protecting you, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your nieces, your nephews, and your grandparents, so you can keep your family, keep your tribe, you can keep your clan, and keep your nation in order. But instead, we're fighting about liking, disliking, and I don't get along with. You don't have to get along with anybody. But if somebody run up at your house and me and you attack them, you're going to survive. If they run in your house and y'all watch them kill you, they're coming next door. And that's what we have yet to identify as the way to success. Unity is the only way you can win in this situation. So you can unite with the LGBTQIE, unite with the Latino community, you can unite with the Asian community, you can unite with the indigenous community, and work together against these white and the working class whites. And we can take control of these people and then get rid of it and then leave it alone. Or you can continue to try to beat this thing on your own. And history tells you that you never will beat these things. Just imagine. It's 53 nations. Even though they're imaginary borders on the continent, 53 nations on that continent. Imagine if all those continents, when all those people and all those nations would work together, when those people attempted to colonize, and when they got together and attempted to colonize, bam, they wouldn't have been colonized. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd probably be sitting somewhere on the throne, chilling, looking, that's a nice subject. And then old lady go, hey, what you doing? That's neither here nor there. I get carried away sometimes. But I do want you to understand 300,000 lost jobs. The fact that they want to make women, they want to take women back to the early 1900s, and then they want to take us back to 15. I told you 365 days ago. I was on at 365 days ago, and I told you they don't want to take you back to the 1950s. They want to take you back to the 1850s. But you have to understand, even if we came together and worked as one in the 1800s or the 1700s and the 1600s, we'd have won. It is documented that every enslaver had 30 to each white person on a plantation. That was 30 to 50 enslaved people. Just imagine if we would have worked together, we'd have took over the plantation, made them pick the cotton, and then there would have been no cotton, because they're not really good at that. That's why they came to got us, because they really, hey, that sun don't do good. They don't do good at that sun. But what I want you to understand is this. This is what I want you to understand. They are attempting to make discrimination illegal, because we are in a state of emergency. They want to make it legal. This is why discrimination is about to become legal. If they do away with the 1965 Civil Rights Act, that means hospitals, you'll be stuck going to the county hospital. Because if you go to a hospital like Rush here in Chicago, if you go to Northwestern Medical Center, University of Chicago Medical Center, they can refuse you at that point, because we don't serve your kind. Just imagine having a gunshot wound. Just imagine in a car accident. Just imagine having a domestic situation. Just imagine falling and hurting yourself. And you're going to the emergency room, they go, not you. That's what you could potentially be faced with. Now, a lot of people say, well, we would never do that until you had the opportunity to do it. I will never be arrogant when I get rich. And then a lot of people get rich and start looking down their noses. I'll never be racist until you can be racist. And 70 million of us said they were racist by voting for a nationalist. And then you're going to tell me it was policy. No, it was never policy. It was I think those people are right about those people. So I'm going to take their side. And there's a lot of people being deported because they said they won't come after me. And yes, you. So they can't kick me out. Yes, they can. What about my rights? You're going to get some rights and some lefts and some feet too. This is what I want you to understand. This dude is violating the Constitution. You know, they're saying Constitution that you got your rights from. He's violating. While you quote the Constitution and talk about all the rights that you have, what I want you to understand is the Constitution is a sheet of paper written by white nationalists. They were sexualists. They were sexist. Some of them were even Muslim. They don't teach you that Thomas Jefferson had a Quran in his house, but they don't tell you that. But they even told you they were anti-Christian, and they told you that's why freedom of religion. They were anti-everything besides rich white men, and that's what they tell you. And that's the one redeeming quality of racists that can't here in the United States. For whatever reason, they are meticulous. They take copious notes and they document everything, so you can just look into it and find out, man, these people are horrible. If you have HBO Max, do yourself a favor. Exterminate the Brutes. It's a 4-part series, and you'll understand this is what HRap was talking about all that time. Just Exterminate the Brutes. It's a wonderful program. It'll let you know where you live and what's going on where you live and why you need to tighten up. Again, they're trying to do away with the 1965 Civil Rights Act. They're trying to do with the 1964 Voters' Rights Act. See, if you control the vote, you control the people. You control the people. You control the population. You control the population. You become a dictatorship and you become a fascist. You know, just like people like Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, and a myriad of other people have told you for years. This is on the horizon, but you have told yourself, I would rather talk about Jim Jones and the clips, and I'd rather talk about what's the young man, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, but I don't want to know about the people who are funding my education, funding my academics, funding the roads, giving out contracts so I can have the opportunity to get up out of this poverty. They want to limit that because they don't need you out of poverty. They need you in poverty, buying their goods, working their number so they can continue to be as rich as humanly possible and dominate and rule over you until this earth stops spinning. It will never stop spinning. What the earth will do is shake you off and hit the reset button and we'll start over. But it will never be ending. But that's what they want to do. And I need you to understand that. There's a war on academics. You're going to defund academics. We're going to go to charter schools because charter schools are better. Charter schools are better. Charter schools are better. Why? Because, see, they have it. But guess what? Charter schools don't have any parameters, meaning they can push your illiterate child all the way through elementary school, then all the way through a charter school and high school. And your illiterate son, daughter, niece, nephew, cousin, or neighbor is left without a skill set, left without developing skills. They're just, I can say the words, but I can't read. I can say the words, but I can't read. And then you're stuck in this caste system, and then you're stuck doing manual labor. And now you're doing the bidding of the wealthy. As ignorant as I can keep you, the more successful I will be. That's what I want you to understand. That's why it's a state of emergency. Legalize racism. I don't want to have to serve you in my restaurant. I don't want to have to give you contracts. I don't want to have to do anything for you. And I want to be able to openly say it. I ain't going to do it because I don't like you. That's an attack on civil rights. If we devalue these valuable Black women, these valuable white women, these valuable Latino and Asian women, and anybody else who's standing up against us, then we control the world. See, that's why when you want to make racism legal, it's not about hate, it's about power. You think they hate you because of your skin color. They hate you because they can't control you. They hate Black men because we keep producing these Black babies that's going to outnumber them, and their numbers continue to go down, and our numbers continue to go up. That's why you create, there's Black men don't take care of their children. But then you have a Harvard study in 2015 that stated Black men are 60% more likely to engage with their children than any other population in the United States of America. I'm going to say that again. Black men are 60% more likely to play a major role in their children's life. So just because I didn't marry this woman, me and her procreated with, I'm going to be there with the child. Proof positive myself. I didn't have a father. My father was taken from me by a violent act. He died 4 months before I was born. So I made a promise to myself as a young boy, if I ever had children, we will have a wonderful bond. And yesterday, both of my children called me at different times of the day and complained about, I ain't gonna say who they complained about, they was complaining about their sibling. They only have one sibling, so they both complained. Yeah. But we were laughing and joking about that. My son had an issue with this training program he's going through. He's getting training and development. A superior pissed him off. He called me, talked to me about 45 minutes about the dude. This is the bond that I created, because now I can let them know that they have superpowers. So you have ability to shine. And our community has this. I'm going to tell you exactly what I told my children. We shine no matter what we do. No matter what situation you are in, financially, academically, emotionally, or spiritually, you shine. And when you shine, you don't see your shine. There's an African proverb that says, the eyes see everything but the eyes. What that means? What does that mean? You see everything in the world, but the world sees you. And the world sees you shine brightly, and it has to dim your light. That's why they tell you that you don't like each other. That's why the propaganda about you supporting each other. And that's why they show you murders on television on a regular basis. You have people in my city, that's been a horrific murder, 2 horrific murders in the last maybe 72 hours here in Chicago. One guy was on Facebook Live, and he got set up and got robbed and murdered. Another guy, they saw him get murdered. And they were like, hey man, we might need the troops. No, in the entire hell you don't. But see, you don't tell the story about the young man, Jonathan Trotter, who just got a scholarship. And he's going to be a baseball savant. They don't tell you about other men and other women and other academics that are going on. Why is it that we live in Cook County with 9 million people? Less than 1,500 people were murdered. And you only hear about the people who were murdered, not about the people who get up and go to work every day, not about the people who help people, not about the people who starting businesses. But you hear about those 1,500 horrible situations. Because one person murdered is one too many. But when you put it in perspective, the city and county isn't as chaotic as you would like to believe, and that's the way they portray it, because they want you to live in fear and live in ignorance. And when you live in ignorance, you react with ignorance. When you act in ignorance, you ask for your oppressor to help you. Mr. Trump, come get this Negro. That's a quote from a Black lady here at a city council meeting speaking about our Black mayor. Crime is down overall in Chicago. Crime is down overall in D.C. at record lows in D.C., record lows in Baltimore, record lows in Los Angeles. And those are the cities that this president chose to attack. But they haven't crime there. Yeah, if you only show me, hey, it's a thing in media called, if it bleeds, it leads. Meaning, we ain't going to start off with, hey, this man saved this old lady from getting hit by a semi-truck. We're going to say this person got hurt. And you look up at it and you have an emotional reaction, because everybody should. Because if something bad happens to somebody, you should go, oh, that's horrible. But it's way more good than horrible. And that's why they continue to attack. That's why they do it, so they can induce legal racism, and then you get discriminated against, and your schooling are defunded, your institutions of higher learning are defunded, your academic programs like trade programs are defunded, and you are stuck right here. So I can't get a loan to start a business. I can't learn how to run a business. I can't educate myself to become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, software engineer, software security officer, or so forth and so on. But if you follow me on Instagram if you follow me on any media platform, you'll find out that Harvard just handed out some free programs. The University of Harvard, I'm sure Harvard, free programs. Go to my page and click the links, and you can go to school for free and get certificates, and then you'll be more employable. We can do it. Work with me. Help me, help you, help me. That's all I'm asking. But we have to do away with this foolishness. There's a war on what they call woke. Because we don't need you to know your civil rights. Because if you woke enough, woke is just aware. This wokeness is just too much. It's about people caring about overdoing politically correct. What's the problem with being politically correct? Now, some people do overdo it, but being politically correct is only respecting the humanity of each and every individual in the history of this planet. That's all it is. Woke is just aware, but they took your woke and made it a bad thing. They made it a black thing. They made it an anti-white thing. They're actually attacking. So the Civil Rights Division that used to protect you, guess what they've done? They've reverted it, and now it's protecting the rights against white people who are being discriminated against. Now, if you can't have it both ways. With 13% of the population, the men ain't doing nothing, the women doing a lot. There's a broken family. So how could we discriminate against people? Because we don't want to go to school, we don't want to marry our women, we don't want to do any work. In order to be racist, you have to have power. And if you have power, that means you're controlling things. And when you're controlling things, you can hire and fire and get rid of people as you want. If we're lazy and we're broken families and we don't want to work and we're not educated, how do we enact racism? But you will continue to see these propagandized lies, and they continue to trick you and think we're on your side, Mr. Black man, white Mr. Black man and Black woman and Black child and Latino child and the LGBTQIE child and everybody else, because we want to take your rights. We take your rights. We remain in power, continue to control. We continue to control, and then we live like fat cats, and you live like worse than what you live. I want you to understand this. And then when you understand it, when you have a war on woke, when you have the ability to delete history and destroy your civil rights and put you in a position that you will always suffer, and you will continue to suffer, you'll never get out of that situation. And what I want to do right now is show you the video of them letting you know that they're your friends. Anytime you see a picture like this, when you see guys like that guy look like he's going to kill everybody there. But we continue to pretend as if they're our friends and our family members. And I don't want to talk about that because it's sad. You know what's sad? Being in bondage. Being in bondage is horrible. And if you continue on the page that we're on, we will be in bondage. And we will have to fight and fight and fight to get back even. Brief history lesson before I play the music, before I play the video is this. I want you to understand this. 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation is signed. We have this period called Reconstruction. It's about a 12, 14-year period. We go from 4% literacy to 84% literacy. We go from enslaved, basically enslaved and incarcerated to the ability to hold legal offices, elected offices, and things of the nature. You'll see that in the video shortly. And then they'd spent the next 50 years. They've spent the next 50 years kicking us on our behind, redlining, making it so you can only live in certain areas, and we will only give you insurance in certain areas. Jim Crow segregation. They segregated themselves from us and hoped that we would die away. And then we created businesses. We had a black basketball league. We invented the game of hockey, and we had the Negro League baseball. And then they said, hold it, they're making too much money. Let's get in on that. Let them play with us. We fell for it. These are the things that we continue to fall for. And every time we make strides, then we had strides in the 60s. Okay, we're going to let you integrate with us. We're going to let you go to our schools. We're not going to make you any problems. And then what they do, they gave us heroin in the 70s, barbiturates in the 70s. All of a sudden, this new cancer that they called AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, showed up. And then military weapons were dropped in our communities, and then this crack thing showed up, and then we can't teach you the metric system, but everybody in the hood all of a sudden understands that a kilo is 1,000 grams, that metric system. And we know all of these things, but we knew them magically, but you didn't want to teach us in the school. And then this black dude became president, and now we're dealing with this. Every time we make strides, we open our mouths and say we're down. This is the time we need to never want to be down again. We ain't Brandy. We don't want to be down. So watch this portion of the video by my man, Country Boy, and you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. And either you will or you won't. Either you do or you don't. And I understand if you won't.
Staged a coup in Wilmington, North Carolina. They destroyed black-owned. In 1898, following state elections, a white mob staged a coup in Wilmington, North Carolina, then the largest city in the state. They destroyed black-owned businesses, murdered black residents, and forced the entire elected local government to resign en masse. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, you can find more content like this at onemichistory.com. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on Buy Me Coffee on my Patreon page in the description below. Also, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and support the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get started. After the Civil War, around 1868, North Carolina ratified the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. This resulted in Reconstruction-era politics in the South. North Carolina state legislatures and the governorship was then dominated by Republican officials. Conservative white Democrats who had previously dominated state politics greatly resented this change, and they felt that it had been brought on by African Americans and race traders. Newly freed African Americans were eager to vote and overwhelmingly supported the Republican Party, who had helped emancipate them, giving them citizenship and the right to vote. Reconstruction-era politics had barred former Confederate veterans from voting and holding public office in North Carolina. Many Democrats were bitter about the Confederacy's defeat, and these veterans joined groups like the Ku Klux Klan and orchestrated considerable violence at elections in order to suppress the black vote. Democrats would regain control of state legislatures in 1870. Democrats would then announce that local officials would no longer be elected, but rather appointed by the state. They would begin circumventing legislation by taking over the state judiciary branch and adopting 30 amendments to the state constitution. This included lowering the number of judges to the North Carolina Supreme Court, putting lower courts and local governments under the control of the state legislature, rescinding votes to certain types of criminals, mandating segregated public schools, outlawing interracial relationships, and granting the General Assembly the power to modify or nullify any local government. By adopting these ideals, the Democrats became the party of white America. However, the control was largely limited to the western part of North Carolina, within counties that had relatively few African Americans.
As you see, as I said, these are people who, did you hear what they say? These are people who have been at this for 161 years at this point. See, you get caught up in Republican, Democrat. Oh, see, the Republican Party is the party for black people. It's no damn party for black people. The party for black people is the Martin Luther King Party or the Malcolm X Party or the Marcus Garvey Party. Ain't no party for us, because when they stop going good for one crowd, they go to the other side. When they get in and they switch back and forth. Your former president, Joe Biden, used to be a Republican. He was taught by, in that same area of the country, by this one racist dude who had a black wife, a black side chick by the name of Strom Thurmond. He had a black child. He was a noted racist, but you love them black women. See, I want you to understand, we don't have any friends in this country. If you listen to Dr. John Henry Clark, we don't have any friends. We may have allies. We may have comrades. We don't have any friends. The friends are the people who are in the struggle with you. The friends are the people who are struggling with you. The friends are the people who are moving in the direction you're moving in, which is independence, education, academic excellence, and peer love. Those are your friends. And if you don't have anybody who's like-minded, then we can work together to get to the point where we can live in a civilized situation. But that does not make you my friend. That makes you my ally. And allies sell each other out occasionally. And that's why you need to go back, galvanize your community. You need to immobilize. You need to galvanize. You need to move in the direction of freedom. And there was somebody say, hey, well, you need to complain. I had some clown tap in and say, well, I don't believe that. Well, see, that's the beauty in the world today. What you believe is not fact. What is fact is not what you believe. I believe I am the coolest guy in the history of the world, the best looking man in the United States of America. And there's some women watching this going, you're kind of cute, but you're pushing it. And that's cool. Because what I believe and what the reality is, and they can be two separate things. So facts are facts. Fiction is fiction. The reality is the reality. A situation, the reality is people have been attacking us for a couple hundred years now. People have done everything they can to destroy everything that looks like you and I. People in this country want to destroy people in my community, whether you want to believe it or not. And you can say, hey, well, no, not all of them. If it's not most of them, this is the question I have for you. If 90% of black people said, no, we don't want no impression. What y'all on is not what we on. And 60% of Latinos said, nah, that's not what we on. And probably like 90% of Asian people don't traditionally vote as heavily as we do. But if let's just say 50% of them, how is it that we're still dealing with the foolishness that we're dealing with? One of the reasons is this. Texas One of my favorite states. Love the state of Texas. Love people in the state of Texas. But Texas is 60% non-white population-wise. The reason I picked Texas, that's the largest independent state with the most amount of black people. 60% of the state is black and or brown. 80% of those people did not go vote. That's why the minority rules like they're the majority, because we won't engage. We will allow people to do what they want, and then we won't be able to defend ourselves. See, we must defend ourselves against these things, because the way you defend yourself against these things, and you live in a capitalist society, you defend yourself with finance. Finance. You don't want to support me, not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I outnumber you. You might have more money than me, but you need my money to maintain your wealth. Guess what? For example, Jeff Bezos, at the top of the pandemic, January 2020, he gave his wife $70 billion. Billion. That's 70,000 millions. If you don't know what it means, it's $1 million 1,000 times, 70 times. 70,000 millions. That's how much money it is. It sounds ridiculous to say it. $1 million 70 times, 1,000 times, 70 times, 70,000 millions. And guess what? Because we, the consumer of the consumers in the United States of America and throughout the world who use Amazon, we were Amazoning at such a feverish pace. He made all that money back by today, August 2020. He made that 70 billion back. He made 70,000 millions in 8 months. So if you can give somebody 70,000 millions back in 8 months, what happens if you start not shopping? Last week, it was supposed to be a boycott, 1 day boycott nationwide of all. You were not supposed to buy any goods, whether you're white, black, Asian, Latino, whatever you were, indigenous. No disrespect. You weren't supposed to buy anything. You weren't supposed to buy no gas. You weren't supposed to do anything. A week ago Saturday, did you participate? Imagine if we all, 300 million people who are suffering under the tyranny of this community, of this administration, what if we would have done it? We win. If you don't think it's possible, you believe in God. Most people watching this believe in God. Jesus started with 12 people, and now most people in the world believe in Jesus. If you don't understand what I'm saying with that, okay, you don't believe in God. You know, I ain't with the religious rap. You know, I ain't with that. The white man religion that's fake. It's phony. Cool. I'm gonna do math, simple math. Let's just say 400,000 of us, 400,000 of us took 15 cents per. Just 400,000 of us that make $40,000 a year. Let me do that. That's a better number. 400,000 people that make $40,000 a year. What if you took 15 cents out of every dollar that you made, your check at the end of the 2 weeks? That's $160. $160. We took $160 and invested in the black community in a year. 400,000 people, 15 cents a paycheck, 15 cents per $100. Per dollar out of every paycheck, $160 every 2 weeks, and we just invested it in Black America. That's $2 billion at the end of the year. That's $2 billion. So let's just say that same people, we don't invest in Black America. We all go open one United Bank accounts. At the end of the year, one United Bank has a surplus of $2 billion. You can reset the financial world if you did that. Because if we did that at 400,000, mind you, documented is 40 million of us. That's 1/2 of 1%. That's the 1/2 of 1% I always tell y'all about. 1/2 of 1% of the people. 400,000 people put $160 in one United Bank every 2 weeks. You could then have them set their own credit. You know, you got Equifax, you got TransUnion, we got one United Bank, and they can have their own credit system. They got their own credit system because they have a surplus of $2 billion. We do it over a 10-year period. They got $10 billion surplus on 400,000 people. We're not even telling a lot of people, 400,000 people out of 40 million, 1/2 of 1%. That's $2 billion. Now, when you need a loan, you go to one United. You need a car loan, you go to one United. You need a home loan, you one United. Guess what? Now we have money being circulated through our community on a regular basis. And then 500,000, and then 1 million, and then 10 million people do it. Do you understand how powerful you become at that point? You're not defending yourself because you're trying to integrate into a system that does not want you. How many of y'all have been registered? This usually happens to men, but women, you women flirt with men, they go, they do it too. But it's rare, but it happens. But what about that guy who
say, oh no, you're not cute enough for me. And then you get to working out, you get cut, which I'll call it beat the face or whatever. I don't know. You get shot. That's what we call it in Chicago. You get shot. I'm from the west side of Chicago. You get shot. You got to do it. You got to throw your thumbs out there. You get shot. Yeah, I'm from the west side. You work with me. But you cut your body to the finest. You got that dress on that you know you're killing in. Your face looking good. Your hair looking good. Why would you accept that flirting from that man who told you wasn't good enough? Men, that girl who said, you got bummy clothes. Nope, you go get some more clothes. You on the bus. You go get you a car. You broke. You go get a better job. Why would you flirt with that girl? Because now you got the clothes, the car, the money, and now you can date the girl that like you, who like you. That's the moral of that portion. We need to like who like us. Don't worry about the people in the community. Oh man, see, everybody not gonna participate. That's where you go wrong. When you know how to fail, that's what you do. When you know how to succeed, that's what you do. When you start defending yourself, that's what you would do. How do you defend yourself? You start shopping with your own. Guess what? I'm gonna give somebody in this audience who has to access to capital $1 billion idea. Watch this. $1 billion idea. I'm gonna need you to come back, subscribe, and then donate. Once this works for you, I'm gonna need you to shoot me that cash out. I'm gonna need my chain. I'm gonna need my coin, but here's $1 billion idea. Black people. I'm gonna start with Asian people. Asian people. They eat more noodles than anybody in the world. Anybody in the United States. They also eat more soy sauce than anybody in the United States. Guess who the number one producers of noodles and soy sauce in the United States? Asian people, Chinese people. They have a need, they have a want, they feel that need, feel that want. Black people, here we go. Y'all ready? We eat more fish than any community. Whoa, my collar jacked up. I ain't noticed that, man. Running my mouth. Okay. Oh well. Next episode, I'll be sharp. Black people, we eat more fish than anybody in the United States. We eat more hot sauce than anybody in the United States. So if you come up with the greatest hot sauce and then you start farming fish and you start selling it to Black people all over the country, all throughout the South, all throughout the Southwest, in the West, in the Northwest, in the Northeast, in the Southeast, and in the Midwest, you will have so much money, you will have to learn how to print it. And that's how you defend yourself. You create entities so you can employ your own people, because of 600,000, it's 300,000 Black women who lost their job in the last 8 months. That means there's some finance people, there's some technology people, there are people all across the board, office managers, building managers, a whole lot of people who are unemployed right now. So we start defending ourselves by opening up our own construction companies, open up our own means of taking care of ourselves. And if we just market to each other, now all of a sudden we're making it. Because guess what? It's some young people that started school this week. They started school this week at universities all throughout the United States of America. And they gonna graduate at the top of their class, and they ain't gonna be able to be employed. But guess what? If we can, just like the video I showed you, 1863, become millionaires by 1875. How in the entire hell can we become millionaires now? And we don't even have, we still have the Ku Klux Klan, but they don't run up on you so freely. You still have hate groups, but they don't run up on you so freely. But if we can take our resources and our academic excellence and our stick-to-itiveness and our working hard and our genius with a lot more freedoms, then we don't really need people to do things for us. There are a bunch of hospitals about to shut down. Guess what? If you're defending yourself, you have these millionaires. This is when you ask the Shaq and the Oprah, won't y'all keep those hospitals open and keep them in our community? And we start going to doctors' offices, dental offices, orthopedic surgeons. We start becoming midwives, and we start becoming OBGYNs, we become proctologists and people who do oncologists. And then we start being dietitians, and then we start growing our own fruits. Abnormalmarket.com. I want you to go there, abnormalmarkets.com. What is that? It's not a Black-owned entity, but it's where you can get your groceries for cheaper, because the United States of America throws away food, fruit, and vegetables that look a little retarded, for lack of a better word. And those, like if you have a bell pepper, it doesn't look like a traditional bell pepper. It grew almost like a banana. Stores don't buy that, but those things still exist, and it's abnormal market.com, and then you can buy that stuff and it'll deliver to your house. It'll be funny looking fruit, funny looking vegetables, but they're still nutritious, and you get them at a discount price. And then you don't need to go to your local grocers because they're going to deliver it to you. We must find ways to defend ourselves, maintain that money, obtain that money, maintain it in our community, circulate through our community, and we will win. But just imagine if you write up a business plan real fast and then get your own grocery store and you start shopping in bulk from that abnormal thing and say, hey, come here, we got the same food. Yeah, it look funny, but it's still going to be delicious. And that's what we need to do. We need to be at our churches, educating our people how to listen to rap. And then you educate our people on history so you can see when you know your history, you'll be empowered. You know what you're capable of. It will empower you. When you become empowered, you get confidence. When you get confidence, you move forward. And guess what? You get your little spirituality, get your little God in there too. Because it's teachers go to church, history teachers go to church, math teachers go to church. How is it that our kids are academically enabled when we got people in this building and we give them money to them? We can rent out this and have what they used to call freedom schools in the 70s. We can reinstitute those things. See, you don't need other people to empower you. What you need to do is say, forget you. You don't want to date me when I was ugly. You know, that was a young man back about 20 years ago. Last year, you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. We need to get hot again. And when we get hot again, we dominate again. We dominate again. We're unstoppable. And if you're unstoppable, you're not at the behest of anyone. You defend yourself. You defend yourself employment-wise. You defend yourself financially. You defend yourself academically. You defend yourself spiritually. Then at that point, you become mentally stronger, and then you become unstoppable. But what you could do is just keep going on with the program. You had this goofball and dumb Donald to keep telling you what to do, and then we'll be hoping and praying. How about this? I pray every day. I talk to God all day. I talk to me and God, have more conversations than me and the average person. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. Stop and think about this when you pray. Maybe when you say, God, can you do this for me? When he wakes you up the next day, maybe he did do it for you. He gave you the ability to do it. When he gave you the ability to do it, maybe you're not answering the energy that he gave you through the prayer. See, the beautiful part is God speaks to us all. Praying is when we talk to God. Meditation is when we listen. And when you just meditate for a little while, slow down, think, wonder, ponder, and enhance, you'll get the answers. Or if you can just tap in and rap, he'll give you the answers every day. Around 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, he'll give you some answers. Then you have to do the rest on your own. I need you to do that, though, people. We need to stop, look, listen to what's around us, enhance and educate and empower. And then we have love, peace, and happiness in our community. 12 jewels. 12 jewels. I need you to keep those 12 jewels in your mind. With that being said, I see y'all tomorrow. I see y'all tomorrow at 3 p.m. B-Trade will be on at 3 o'clock tomorrow. What are we talking about tomorrow? What are we talking about tomorrow? You need to be subscribed and you know what we're talking about tomorrow. But we're talking about how long does it take to heal? How do you heal to a next from one relationship to another? The B-Trade podcast will be on right here. Subscribe and you'll get the notification. You get the notification, you're engaged. If you engage, we're going to have some fun. We have some fun. You come back Monday, and I got some more stuff. I got lemons out of lemonades Monday. Then I got my man Ty back on Tuesday. Then I may have Fred Hampton Jr. on Wednesday. We'll find out shortly. But with that being said, 2 fingers, 1 word. If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from me.
I'm not only glad to be black. I think black people are incredibly important to planet Earth because whatever it was, we found a way to love through it. And that's what we're going to have to find a way to write about. We who were enslaved found a way to cook, to dance, to laugh. We found